Hi, and welcome to season 5 of the 15-ish minute coffee chat, a conversation providing tips and tricks for every entrepreneur and business owner.
Acting intentionally can awaken the possibilities for entrepreneurs. We are going to be chatting about practical strategies that are uplifting, inspiring, and focused. Today, Anna Larson of NomadAbout and Selena, myself of Hauoli Socially Inspired, are chatting with Kennita Williams, a model for the King Life Coaching. So excited.
Excited.
I love this lady. And we were just telling her in the back, when you don't personally get to meet them in person, but you just feel like they're just everything you just want to be around. You know what I mean? You're excited about having them.
Yes, absolutely. So Kennita is day 26 of our 30-day video every day in April challenge. We are so excited. We have done a live stream every day in April, 26 straight days. It has been a process.
I have a white hair somewhere hiding underneath there. Because it takes a minute, or it takes a little bit of brain cells to kind of to do.
Yes, absolutely. So today's conversation is really exciting because we have been very intentional about what we have been doing this month with our live streaming and doing it for a reason. And so our question for you today, we just want you to pop it in the comments for anyone who's watching right now. Do you consider yourself someone who makes intentional business decisions, or are you like off the cuff, like, oh, let's try this. Oh, wait, no, maybe that sounds like a great idea. Oh, let's go over here and try this over here. Yeah. Or are you very intentional in what you're doing? So we'd love to hear from you. Pop it in the comments and tell us, are you an intentional business decision maker?
Yeah. Yes, we want to know, because we have the perfect guest to talk about that with today. Yeah. So I'm excited. Shall we? Oh, well, yeah, we did talk about 30.
Yeah, we gotta read your bio
and getting me all whatever. Let me bring in the bio so Anna can go ahead and talk a little bit about our special guest.
Yeah. So listen, Selena met Kennita at the Remote Revolution for the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs. And she was so in love with Kennita the first time she met her. She immediately said to me, listen, you have to find this woman. You have to network with her. We just had this conversation backstage. And so now we're both huge fans. But Kennita believes that life is too short to not live life on purpose. She's a certified life coach, an author, a motivational speaker, and most importantly, the daughter of the king. Daughter of the king. Kennita's mission is to help people awaken to the possibilities in their personal and professional lives. She's a military spouse, a mother of 2, and a certified life coach. She lives in North Pole, Alaska with her husband, Nicholas, her son, Nikki, who's 11, and her daughter, and I'm going to guess it's Kira, who attends Charleston Southern University. So without further ado, let's bring Kennita on.
Yeah, I'll let you do that, Anna. Let's bring Miss. Yay!
There she is.
Hello, my friend. Yes.
Hello. So I'm super excited. Hey, ladies.
I know. Welcome to the show. You have some friends that were tuning in and say good morning. So we're super excited for that.
Yeah.
Kennita, Clay's
impulsive.
Yeah, she's impulsive, not intentional.
LaShondra is intentional and slow to move. So we've got 2 ends of the spectrum happening right now in our chat.
Yeah.
There we go.
So let's get out of the way my favorite thing, which is our coffee cup selfie. So we're just going to raise our cups here. And if you want to take one with us, you can. All right, guys, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. I love Kennita's. I'm going to tell you why, Kennita, I didn't tell you this backstage. That is actually my daughter's middle name is Grace. And so you want to know what song really gets me? And I know it's anytime I hear Amazing Grace, yeah. I know it, you know what I mean? I cry every time because sometimes I feel like the words are exactly how I feel about my kid. You know what I mean? I know that's not what the song was written for, but so I love your mug because that's what it makes me think of this morning.
Yes.
Well, yes, I definitely love that. And I love that story, but I love Grace because I usually need a whole lot of it every day throughout the day.
I can't imagine. It's so fantastic and
Grace, that whole umbrella of Grace. Like the whole
I think we all do at some point, right? Like everybody needs a little bit, especially on a Monday morning. I'm just going to throw that out there. It is a Monday morning.
Yeah. And it's 7 o'clock here at the North Pole. So I really love you ladies. I love you.
I know. I was like, if somebody told me to come on at 7 a.m., I'd be like, ooh, like, yeah,
I love you. Can we record it?
We appreciate you going live with us. Kennita does a ton of lives also on her page, which we'll talk about later. But so she's used to this format, and she's a natural. And so we're excited. I could go on and on and on and on about how much you inspire me. And I do. I get to pop into your lives when I see them, come into my feed. And I always do walk away with something. You have amazing guests. They're insightful. Their stories are so powerful.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to be around someone that kind of like brings in that kind of energy.
I love it. I love it. And you guys said it the best, like when you meet people, and it's so funny. We haven't even physically met, but you kind of just feel it. You feel the love, you feel it. And then those are the people that you're like, I need those in my life. I need some of those. It's so good to surround yourself with good people and good energy. And
yes. Hi, I told Kennita she could come like stay at my house if she wanted to. And we were laughing because like you said, we've not met each other. We don't know each other's personal habits, but you're like, my door is open to you,
Yes.
Okay. So let's go through the toolkit before we get into these questions that we want to ask.
Okay.
So Anna, I'll let you talk about it. And when you're ready, I'll pop that slide in.
Okay, well, we can pop the slide in. Our toolkit today is Calendly. And so what we do is we ask our guests, like, what's something that they cannot work with, they cannot do business without? And this was Kennita's answer, is Calendly. And so if you aren't familiar with Calendly, basically what it does is it connects calendars together and then allows your clients to schedule based on the times that you have available. So there's no back and forth of, oh, how about Tuesday at 3? No, I got something Tuesday at 3. How about Thursday at 4? No, I got something Thursday at 4. Instead, it just allows them to look at what time you have available and fit it into their schedule. So, Kennita, tell us, what is it you love about Calendly?
Oh, Calendly has saved my life. Like, I feel like it's been like such a lifesaver. When you live in the North Pole, and everyone that you're dealing with on a daily basis is on the East Coast, on Central Standard Time, on, all these things. So I would spend half of my day saying, okay, let's figure out the time zones. Let's figure this out. So when I think I was introduced to Calendly through like something that AMC did or something like that, like one of the conversations that we all got together and had or whatever, and we were sharing different tools. But Calendly has been amazing tool. Like I said, and like you guys talked about, you can just literally send it out to whoever you're talking to. And as a life coach, just easy to just hit it and go. And when you do it like that, it's like they can respond, they can make their appointments. For me, if I'm in the middle of talking to another client, I can easily send it to them, and it helps you not miss out on things as well. It gives you your reminders, it gives them their reminders. It goes straight to, because they put their email in it, it gives them their email reminders, it gives the time zone variance, it gives that. So it's just been a lifesaver to just hit the button, send them the link, and they got it, and you can just go on. It's like that virtual assistant, like you just hit it and go, and you're not spending $1 million to like use it. It's really been a good tool. It's been really good and easy access, easy. Like I said, it's just answering questions for you, because people, when you say North Pole, they like panic. It's like, what? And then they, the time zone gets crazy for them, and it's like, oh my God. So it just makes it easy. Just click and go, and it goes to them, and it sets it up and gives them reminders as well. It gives you a reminder, and then it also lets you know that they booked.
Yeah.
Like when they book their appointment, it lets you know they booked. So it's become a lifesaver.
I 100% agree with you. Sometimes it moves so fast that I freak my own self out because I'm like, oh wow, I just sent the link. And like you had mentioned earlier, there's not that going back and forth of a full day sometimes of trying to sync in a schedule together, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
5 minutes. And it's
because we're all busy.
Yeah.
We're all busy. So when we say our times and when we're available, you're sending it back, and then I'm like, oh, not really, Selena. I'm not that available. It's like because we say it. Oh, I got plenty. I'm flexible,
Yeah.
and then we send like 3 dates, and it's like, yeah, about that. I can't do it. But
since our last conversation, I'm not free anymore.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Please let us know in the comments, guys, if you use any type of a scheduler like this, because there is many. Anna uses one that's within one of our CRMs that we use, and she loves it.
I do. It works the same as Calendly. I do want to mention for anybody that is interested in Calendly, they do have a free option that allows you to set up one scheduling thing. So they allow you to set up like different times. You can schedule for a 15 or a 30 or a 1 hour appointment. And so you do get a free option, but Calendly is not expensive. It's $8 a month for a pro and I think $12 for premium or something like that. So it really does like Kennita called it a virtual assistant. It really is. Having a calendar that can do this for you is so great. So yeah, highly recommended.
Thank you, Kennita, for offering a wonderful toolkit that I think any business person should have, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're going to move on. We've got a question for you, Kennita. We want to move right into your questions. This is our mental health question of the day. And our mental health question of the day is like just that initial one that we start out with to kind of like spur the conversation. So for you today, Kennita, what brings you joy about your work? Is that the perfect question for her or what?
I know.
That's so good. It just brought me joy just hearing it. I love
Like, how does the joy maker find joy? Like, we're curious.
Oh my God. You know what brings me joy? And my husband probably gets tired of hearing it because I get so excited when I can, like the light bulb comes on, like when I'm coaching someone and I'm talking to them, and because I often look back at like the first time I met them and we had our first conversation, and then you get into 2 or 3 weeks and it's like you see a whole new person. And that brings me the most. I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because for me, when you realize like who you are and what you're worth, and that God created us in just a space where we're supposed to change the world around us. And when that light bulb clicks on, that just brings me the most joy ever, because you meet people and you just want the best for them, and it's like you just want it and you want to give it to them and you want to share it with them, and because you know what it does for you when you know who you are and you know your worth. So when I see other people and the light bulb comes on to say, oh, I am worth this, oh, I have this in my life and I can do this and I can change this space, or I am changing this space, when they realize that they're already doing it, that brings me the most joy in the world, because that's just one person that's going to now take what they have to go help somebody else.
Yeah.
This gave me goosebumps.
Right.
As in Hawaii, we like to say chicken skin. Like, yeah, I love that so much. That just shows how much of a giver you are, that you really want to see others reach their full potential, and that's what that gives you joy. It's so selfless. Seriously, Kennita, I can see why others like flock to you, because you just you're so genuine and authentic in this wanting of helping others have a better life.
Thank you.
I mean, your work is all about other people, and I find that very, very interesting. I mean, you're providing them a service, but it's more than like a service. It's all about like them growing internally and then being able to manifest that externally. And that is a real skill. Like, you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm a life coach, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. But really, I think that it really takes a special skill set to be able to do what you do and really, and have people really respond to it.
It is, and what's so funny about it is that for so long I was doing the exact opposite of what I felt like. And I just longed to be like, okay, I want to help and do. And, so I was working legal for years, and I was doing discharges in Article 15 and putting people out of the military. So it was just like, oh my God, I felt like I was doing the exact opposite. So I lived it myself to, get up, go to work every day, do those things, and then feel like I was so unfulfilled at the end of the day. So I feel like the gift that God has given me is to push other people to realize what they were put on the earth for, because I knew what it felt like when I didn't feel, I was successful. I had a great career going. I was successful doing the things that everyone on the outside would have loved to sit in that seat and do. But for me, it wasn't what I felt like I was called to do. So to hear somebody say that I work with doctors, guys. I always work with doctors, and lawyers have been in positions for years, and they're like, I'm just not happy. And I'm like, but you're a doctor and you achieve these, you save lives, but it's just not what they were called to do. I have had them say that they want to be rock stars. I'm like, well, do it. Go on the stage.
I am curious. Do you find that when you work with people and you see that dissatisfaction, is it normally because they're not in a career field that they are happy with, or is it because there's internal drama or internal conflict happening because of maybe where they're at in their station in life?
Wow, that's such a good question, Anna. Most times when I actually get to the root of things and sit down and communicate, because, it's first you have to go through all these layers and then finally you get the truth, right? It's like, there it is. That's why. And it usually stems back to some sort of past, something that didn't line up to where they are and what they're doing, even if they're successful. Like I said, for example, like working with the doctor, and after talking, I'm like, well, you went to school for all the, you put a lot of time in to become a doctor. Where did we? So when you get to the bottom of it, it's like, oh, well, my family never recognized that anything outside of being a doctor or a lawyer or engineer as a career. So I couldn't be in the arts, and I couldn't sing, and I couldn't do. I'm like, oh, there it is. You were doing it for someone else. You're a people pleaser, like those things like that. You kind of find those things that root all the way back, and you go through layers and layers that really they weren't doing what they wanted to do. They were doing what outside influences were telling them to do, or even if it was just societal telling them that, hey, being a lawyer is great, being a doctor is great, that's what you do, and that's when you're successful. And ultimately, but God created you to be a rock star, and you're supposed to be singing on the stage,
You're speaking my words right here. Like, I always wanted to be a rock star. I do not have the voice for it, unfortunately.
There is going to be a Kennita statue if Anna becomes like a middle-aged rock star, which can happen.
There you go. Right?
There's a sign that says, this wouldn't have happened if Kennita hadn't said, do it.
Oh my gosh. It's so true. But, most of the time, and it's just like life happens, right? Life happens. And then you feel like, because this happened, I can't do this. Because this happened, there's no way that I can do this, So I find a lot of that. I find a lot of people settling, thinking that it's okay to do this because, being a military spouse, you move and you pick up every couple of years and you start over. So if you were on this career track, or you were in a spot that was, found yourself moving towards where you wanted to be, okay, you get congratulations, you're going from Florida to Alaska, or congratulations, it's like, okay. So, after a while, you kind of lose hope, and I feel like a lot of times I meet people and clients, and they lost hope, and they just choose what is easy sometimes. Sometimes they choose what's easy, or the natural thing they feel like they can do at the moment, but it's not exactly what they're called to do.
Something you just said, Kennita, is like, that made me think about it is like, you know, sometimes it's natural, right? We always look at others going, wow, they must, like you just said, they must have it great. And so you start comparing yourself to that doctor that you think is met every goal and they're where they want to be. And you're sharing that, you know, don't look at people like that. Look at what your path is and focus on that, because you really don't know if that doctor, like you said, is happy and finding joy, because you know, and I think that's an important message, is don't compare, because you just don't know what they're walking in, right? I guess. And
comparison kills, and I often see that it's the thief of joy, and it really is when you compare yourself. And even when you compare yourself to people that are maybe life coaches, I mean, it seems like a lot of people are becoming life coaches and stuff. And if I begin to compare myself to someone who's been doing it for 15 years, 20 years, you know, when you compare yourself to their middle and you're just starting, that, and you know, they have like all this going on and commercials and books and all this stuff, and you start comparing yourself to their middle and you just started, that kills too, you know, even if it's the same path and you're just not, you have to learn those steps. And I think we get ahead of the cart sometimes.
Yeah. I love what you just said. I think that as far as the comparison thing goes, like, I mean, moving this back kind of to the business conversation. So often as entrepreneurs or as small business owners, we think, well, they started the same time I did. Look how many clients they have, or why am I doing it wrong? Or am I not as good as them? Or why is she succeeding and getting these contracts? What am I doing wrong is kind of the idea. And so, or we look at them and we say, ooh, I'm going to try exactly what they did and get the same results. And that's just not how it works.
No.
You know, that there has to be, anyway, yes. It doesn't work that way. It's not like there's a formula for succeeding or a formula for being happy. It's so personal and each of us.
And that's so true. And it's like, you got to know who you are. Like, if you don't know who you are, then you'll try to run somebody else's race, and that's where we get caught up. You know, we'll start, you know, if I'm a sprinter, which I'm not, and I've always ran cross country and distance, so it took me time to take more steps, but I still got a trophy at the end because it was my race, right? So I just feel like, you know, I'm looking at my sister who was always a sprinter. She can do the 100, the 200, and she got trophies and medals too. But we were running two different races, and so you can't compare yourself to. That's why you have to know exactly who you are, so you could be able to run your own race.
I think this leads really well into our main question of the day, because when you are trying to run somebody else's race, then you're not being intentional with the things that are true to you, right? Yeah. So our question today that we had for you was, like, I put 3 ways, but let's just throw out, what are some ways that we can be intentional about our business practices? Like when we are at that point and we're seeing other people succeed or seeing other people grow, and maybe we're not at that same level of success. Or we've tried a million different things and none of them seem to be working. Like how can being intentional about our decisions and what we're doing each day and how we're spending our time help us in that business aspect?
Yeah, you know, one of my biggest mottos is that without a plan, there is no mission. So you have to have a plan, you know, or you're going to be shooting at a dark board, and you're never going to make your mission or vision because you don't have one. So you have to create a plan. And when you have a plan, you know, that goes along what I tell everyone, you know, you have to know what that plan is and make it your plan.
Yeah.
So you say, hey, Coach K, how do I make my own plan, right? So that's what you do. So what you have to do, you have to create your own core values. You need your own core values. You know, I tell everybody with the military, you know, we don't want the Air Force showing up in Navy uniforms. We don't want we need them in the air. We don't need them in the water, right?
Right.
We need them. So they have their own core values. And when they show up for the fight, they're fighting as Air Force airmen, you know, and not trying to be a Navy seaman, because they don't know their fight. They didn't plan that way.
Yeah.
So you have to have your own core values. And when you have your own core values and you start saying, I'm all about integrity, I'm all about family, I'm doing it. And so when you take those core values and you tie them to a mission statement, that's when you find your plan. You need your core values. Let that drive you to your mission statements. And then that mission statement will drive you to your goals. And it'll be your own personal goals, because if anything doesn't line up with your mission and anything doesn't line up with your core values, that's not the thing for you. And I think that's what happens with so many of us. We get caught up on, it's like that shiny penny, like, oh, we're doing this. Okay, this is what's going on now. So I have to get a YouTube. This is what's going on now. So I have to get this. And it's like, but does that line up with your mission?
Yeah.
Your mission statement. I tell everybody, pull it out of your pocket, sit down with it, think about it, think about your mission. And if I say that I'm Coach K and my mission is to inspire and encourage and lift up and change lives and align people with the path that God has for them to go, I can't go over here and spend all my time doing the exact opposite. Yeah. So if my core values don't line up with that mission, then that's not my thing to do. And so that's what I encourage people to do. Find your core values. And that's how you say no to things, because when people ask you to do stuff, you don't have to make up a no. You'll know a no. You'll look at your mission and be like, that's not part of my mission. I can't do it, right? Yeah. And so then that gives you your way out. You're like, nope, I got to focus on this. Or even I said, like, even when it comes to integrity, if you find someone and you're sitting there with them and that integral flag comes up and they're not having integrity, that's not the person to connect with, right? So that's your hard no. So when you know your core values, that means you know who you are. That's the core of you. And that core values add you to your mission statement. And then you can make some smart goals for yourself that are designed just for you.
Yeah.
This is so good. Like, I think both professionally and personally, we get very distracted by those shiny objects. Something sounds like it would be so awesome, but I love what you said. Like, the being intentional part is, does it fit in with your core values and your mission? Yeah. And if it doesn't, you can still think it's awesome, but it's not for you. It's not for you.
It's not for you. It's a hard no. And that's what I said. If my friends are having something going on and I know I have deadlines to write this book or do something, right? And they have the greatest thing going on, like they're saying, we're giving dinners to the homeless. We're giving this all the, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you $20, but I can't give you 20 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you can donate money. You can there's other ways to be involved without taking the time that you need to focus on what you need to focus on. Yeah. So that helps you say your no's and knows what you say yes to.
Can I just tell you, I just had like a client, we were talking about that. And he was saying, Selena, just remember, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something.
Yeah.
And was that no more important than the yes? You know what I mean? And it just was like, oh my gosh, like, because I am
miss the thing. You can miss your thing for being in the wrong space, right? At the wrong time. And is it a good thing that you're doing? Yes, you're feeding the homeless and it's wonderful. But you should be over here doing this, and you can miss out on what's for you because you're doing other things. And I've been there before. I've got caught into, because I've been that yes girl and that yes friend, and depend on Kennita and she'll come. And I've been that, and I had to get to the point where these are my core values. This is my mission, and I have to be faithful to my mission.
And it's hard to do that, though, right?
It's hard.
So hard. That's why you need a life coach.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to tell you, so in the last conversation I had with my mentor, she was telling me about how she had eliminated a service from her business, and it was the most lucrative service that she had. Like, she's like, I just kept raising the price, hoping that people would stop asking me for it. And she said it got to the point of it was ridiculous how much they were paying her to provide this service. And she's like, and then I had to stop and say to myself, I keep raising the price because I don't want to do this. This does not fit what direction I want to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you crazy? Like, like a third of your income is coming from that. Like,
Yeah.
This is not chump change here. We're not talking about like 50 cents or something,
Yeah.
And she was like, I just had to make that very intentional decision that this is not where I wanted to be. It didn't make her, she said it took up too much of her headspace and too much of her time. And I just was so impressed with that, because I'm like, so often as small business owners and entrepreneurs, we think we got to take anything that comes our direction.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. It does need to fit our core values. It does need to fit our mission statement and ultimately our big picture plan. That's such a good reminder today.
Yeah, it is. So, Coach K, is that actually something that you like help when people become, when they're your client? Is that like the first thing you do is you set out to like create that if they don't have that, like a mission and creating the core, like what are their core values? Is that something you do?
That's absolutely what I do. That's the first stages of being able, because I personally feel like you can't create great goals and wonderful plans if it's not what you're supposed to do. Like I can take all your money. I can take all your money and we can set up all these wonderful goals and I can send you on your way. But I'm doing a disservice and I'm definitely not following my mission, because I'm supposed to align your plan with the plan God has for you, right? So that's the first thing I do, because actually the first steps that I do is help you eliminate all of these titles. The titles that we put on ourselves, the titles that are given to us, the titles that come our way, with our past that just kind of fall into our lap. Even when we don't want them, they come. And a lot of times people carry those titles and that's just their big bag and big bucket of things. And even those ones that you're trying to reach for, those awards and those things. And it's like, okay, that's so great when you introduce yourself to me and we're talking. I'm like, oh my God, that's so wonderful. But let's drop all of that right now. And it's because we need to get to the core of who are you and not just what your title is. Because guess what? Our kids become 20 before we know it and they're off to college and mom kind of fades to a different season. And so when those things go and season to season comes, where does that leave you? Are you doing what God called you to do? Did you follow those steps? And you don't know. And that's how people lose themselves. They don't know. They get caught up in the titles that they want or the titles that they don't have or the things that were given to them. And they don't even realize God had a plan for you before you had all those titles.
Yeah.
That's so okay. So you just like had made this big light bulb moment happen in my head where that's
my favorite space.
Pour into her joy cup right now. Yes.
It was one of those things where I was like, I put titles on myself. I'm a procrastinator. That's a title I've given myself, right? Or I am not a runner. But if I really like peeled all of that away and didn't say to myself, I am all of these things because for whatever reason they've been placed on me, or at one point I didn't run fast and so I felt inadequate, or whatever the reason is behind giving myself that title. If I peeled it all away, do I want to be a runner? Is this something that is in store for me? Yeah. And if it is, then that's where you put all of that energy and hard work towards to be. Yes. I mean, I'm using running as an example. I hate running. This is not my mission. but I like to walk.
That's so good though, and because that's what we do, but there's life and death in the power of the tongue, right? So like if we say these things and it becomes so natural, like we'll say, oh, I'm a procrastinator. Oh, and I tell her, oh, I'm broke. I'm like, no, you need to stop that. Say I'm blessed. Bring those positive words to life, breathe life into the positivity and change your mindset. And when you change your mindset and you change these words, your life will change.
Oh, so good. Oh, you guys powerful money message.
Do you see why Kennita is such like this energy you want around you? She just, you just are, you're just like the person that everybody needs to have in their life.
Oh, thank you.
So to get to. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we've already reached the end of our time together, which is just really sad, right? Like,
so
it's
sad.
but before we go, we want to make sure everybody knows where they can connect with you.
Yes.
So can you we're going to pull it up, and can you tell everybody where to find you?
Oh my gosh, you guys make me look so good. I love this.
You are. You don't. Yeah, we don't have to try. You are.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So yeah, I'm on Instagram as Kennita Williams, and then also Model for the King on Facebook, and then Model for the King on Instagram and LinkedIn, Kennita Williams, and www.kennitawilliams.com is where you can find all the things. And then Free to See is my new project that will be coming out before the end of this year. I have to speak it here on this thing, and I'm like, got to get this book done.
It will.
And that's where you can find all the things. And then I do an 8-week community coaching course where we walk through all of these steps to find out who you are and who God calls you to be, so you can just shine. And that's what the 8-week course is called, Shine. Shine.
Awesome. Yeah. So Kennita, can they register for your 8-week coaching course, and can they pre-order your book on your website?
Absolutely. That's where you can register. We're finishing up a Shine group now, so we will be starting one in July. And so the new course will kick off in July. And then Free to See, you can pre-order that on the site as well.
All right. You heard it here first. Maybe not first, but you heard it here listening to us, right?
She's making it very easy for you guys to find her. It is not a feat to try to like connect with Kennita. So
yeah. Well, Kennita, thank you so much for being here with us today and for giving such great words of wisdom. And I mean, I feel empowered today, and that is a great way to start my day and my week.
That makes my heart leap with joy. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. This is the best way to start out a Monday. We should do it again.
I'm totally down with that.
Yes. Yes. We were also just seeing Kennita and I, we were talking in the back about Clubhouse, and I was in a room this morning where it was just so motivating, inspiring. And I could imagine Coach K being in that room and speaking the way that all these like lovely ladies were in there, because it was a great way to start my morning before I got to chat with Kennita and Anna this morning. And then she just kind of keeps it coming. So I feel like I've had like really a couple hours, and it's like 10:30 a.m. here, 8:30.
Yes.
But it's so, I don't know. So maybe you'll see us on Clubhouse. I don't know.
I love that. I feel like I got to get cool and get all this Clubhouse. Everybody's like, thank you guys. I want to be a part of that club. Like, yeah.
I love it.
We're trying to get Anna in there, but
no, they gotta allow us Android users.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
You know. So, okay, before we go, we want to throw out our tip jar from Caitlin Eldridge. She's a CPA and all-around amazing financial advisor. And our tip today is, if you're having a business meal, keep the receipt and document who you went to the meal with and what was discussed. Okay, so this is important. Make sure you keep those. Just write it on the back of the receipt and then put it in your receipt envelope that you're going to take care of later that month, because you're following all of our great financial tips.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you actually watched last week's show with Kim Ali Lima, our mental health therapist, she actually takes her receipts and she almost makes it like a journal just to make it easy. But she'll write who she went with in and what the day meant to her or whatever. Because she's like, and I was like, oh, and she says, so that way she can look back and not only just see it as the business expense, but also just kind of like that day and being in that moment and how she enjoyed it. So I don't know. Kennita.
Yeah. I know. Okay, so yes, Kennita, thank you so much for being here with us today. For everyone that's still here and listening, next week, Selena and I are having a Mother's Day episode where it's featuring our two girls. And it is going to be interesting.
I love that. I love that.
Yes. So
it's going to be all about how your children see you as a business persona, right? Because we make an impression on them from an early age, our work ethic and what we do and how we do it. And so you're going to hear from our two daughters, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, find us on AnnaandSelena.com, Facebook, YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. We'd love for you to subscribe. And don't forget, we got 4 more days of video every day in April.
Yeah.
So you will see us live every day for the next 4 days.
Thank you for joining us. And you will catch Kennita's episode on the podcast in the next couple of days. So that way, if you didn't get to watch the whole thing, you can listen to it in your ears while you're doing your walk, or you're driving to work, or your coffee house, whichever it is. So, Kennita, mwah. Much love.
I love you guys.
Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow.